Hey, listen, guys. I just want to chat with you for just a few minutes here. And I've had a lot of time to think. I've had a lot of drive time in the last 60 days, driving back and forth to my hometown. Um, and I was thinking about how, and I'm going to speak for me for just a second, okay, guys? And I'm assuming your organization kind of looks the same. But I was kind of looking at my group, and it's like one month we'll be up here, then the next month we're down here a little bit, then the next month we're up here, and we've kind of got that roller coaster effect going on in my business. You sit back and say, well, you don't want that roller coaster effect, but it's like, well, it happens. It naturally happens. You know, one month you're going to have a really good month, and all of a sudden it kind of dips down a little bit. But what you really want to happen is that, let's say this is your volume for June, and then July your volume is up here a little bit, and then August it dips down a little bit, but it doesn't dip as low as it was in June. So your lows are not as low as previous months, right? So you're kind of on a roller coaster, but it continues to go up. So your highs are higher and your lows are actually higher. And if you look at it that way, you're on the right track, okay? But if your organization is like this, and it's high, low, high, low, high, low, and the low months are the same as 2 months ago, then something's wrong, okay? You can have this roller coaster effect, but make sure that when you plot it out on a graph, that it's constantly going up. Now, the question is, how do we eliminate that? Well, I don't know if you're going to completely eliminate that roller coaster effect, but you can eliminate the high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. And one way to do that is, okay, first of all, I'm just going to preach for just a millisecond here. Everybody needs to be on SmartShip. I hope you guys have noticed that we all got paid. Well, we didn't get our checks yet, but if you look at your commissions, it says for the tokens, how much you got paid on the tokens, 945 or 925 or 975, something like that. It's like, okay, that's the start of it, all right? So you can't take advantage of that unless you're on SmartShip. So make sure that everybody is on SmartShip. So how do we stop that? Well, the stop-start mentality is what causes that, okay? And the start-stop mentality is something that you absolutely can control. And human nature says that when you have a good month, you take your foot off the gas. And that's why you have a down month the next month, okay? We can't have that start mentality. Now, I don't think anybody would blame me if I had a down month in the month of August, or, now I'm not going to say September, but maybe June, maybe July and August, okay? I don't think anybody would blame me if I said, yeah, my business was down those 2 months, I had a lot going on, my mom was diagnosed with cancer in May, she passed away in August, I'm dealing with a bunch of stuff, the cancer sucks, and many of you know that, and then you pile on the dementia and the Alzheimer's, and then all of a sudden she thinks she can get up in the middle of the night by herself, and then she falls and she breaks her hip, and so now we've got to rush her to the hospital. All of this was happening. Oh, and by the way, my dad's 90, and he's trying to take care of her, and he's got congestive heart failure, and I'm 90 minutes away. My sister's, 6 hours away. Nobody would blame me if my July and August were down. And I caught myself thinking about that as I was driving back to Wisconsin Dells. Kenny, my good buddy Kenny, is on here. Kenny and I graduated from the same class in Wisconsin Dells. And I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, you know what? I just got to take the time off. Nobody will care. I thought to myself, wait a minute, why are you thinking that way? And then I thought to myself, who's going to save me? Who's going to save me? I have a down month. That is all on me. That's not on you guys. It's all on me. And I kept saying to myself, who's going to save me? Who's going to save me from this down month? And you know what the answer is? Me. Me. I'm going to save me. None of you are going to save me, and I don't expect anybody to save me. People not in my business aren't going to save me. People that I've talked to, they're not going to instantly go, oh, Steve, I heard your mother passed away. I want to sign up now. That doesn't happen. So I said to myself, I am going to save myself. So what I did is I continued to do what I needed to do to be successful. And I made a bunch of phone calls. And I contacted people on my prospect list that hadn't signed up yet. And I just said, where are you at? Are you in or are you out? I need to know. Things are right. And I said, I'm not going to skip a beat. I think we live in a world today where people think, oh, somebody will save me. I'm just going to leave it up to whoever. It's like, no, this is on you. This whole business is on you. And so I had to make the phone calls. I took a trip to Ohio, and I did meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Drove home Friday. It was a 6.5-hour drive. Meetings, all these different towns. Meeting with all these different people. We signed up 12 people in 3 days, and the biggest meeting we had, there were 6 people there. Just meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, driving home, making phone calls. And I said, I am the one who has to do this. Now, one of my mentors, one of the guys that has taught me an awful lot in life is Tony Robbins. And you may like Tony, you might not. I mean, he's kind of a brash personality. But I've been listening to Tony Robbins for many, many, many years. And I remember this one training that Tony did. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about because it really is so true. And Tony said, if you want better answers, ask better questions. Because it doesn't matter what question you ask, your brain is going to come up with an answer. Doesn't matter what the question is. And so if you ask better questions, you're going to get better answers. And so when I said to myself, who's going to save me? You know what my brain said? Nobody, Steve. You're going to have to save yourself. Okay? So if you ask a question like, oh, why can't I lose weight? You know what your brain's going to say? Well, you know why you can't lose weight? Because you're lazy and you eat too many pizzas. That's what your brain's going to say, right? And if you say, well, how come I can't get the business to work for me? Your brain's going to go, well, because you're lazy and you don't do enough business presentations and you don't talk to enough people. Those are the questions you don't want to ask, okay? Why don't great things happen to me? Well, because you're lazy and you're pessimistic and you don't take any chances. That's what your brain's going to say to you. So you have to reword the question. Instead of saying, you know, how come I can't lose weight? Say to yourself, how can I lose 20 pounds in the next 30 days and have fun doing it? How can I lose 20 pounds in the next 30 days and have fun doing it? You know what your brain's going to say? All right, let's do this. Let's find an accountability partner. Let's do this, that, and blah, blah, blah. And your brain's going to come up with an answer. Or you ask your brain, you ask yourself, you know, how can I go make $50,000 a month and have fun doing it? Instead of saying, why doesn't this business work for me? Ask, how can I go make $50,000 a month and have fun doing it? Ask yourself that question, and your brain is going to come up with an answer. Now, I actually asked that question to myself on the way home from one of my trips to Wisconsin Dells. Just sitting there thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and you know what it said to me? Go find 10 people who each have $100,000 in volume. That's $1 million in volume, and you're making $50,000 a month. And I said, oh my gosh, that's easy. I can do that. I can go find 10 people. So when I talk to somebody about the business and they tell me no, it's like, oh, you're not one of the 10. Gotta go. Because I only need 10. Guys, think about that. Now, trust me, this is just Steve Schultz talking. If you guys want to get in this little mind of mine and do what I do, that's great. But I'm just telling you what I do. Carrie, don't do that. I'm just telling you what I do. And when I sit back and go, I can find 10 people. Hell, there's 5 of them on the screen right now. The problem is you guys are all in the same leg. I need 10 separate legs.
What a bad problem to have, Steve Schultz.
I know. I need 10 separate legs, or you guys to go triple and double.
All right, I'm quitting tomorrow. I'll re-enroll under another leg, okay?
Let's go. But I thought to myself, I can go do that. Okay? Now, here's why this works the way it works. Because your brain has two sides. It has a thinker side and it has a prover side. And whatever you think, your prover side of your brain must prove the thinker correct. So if you say, I can't lose weight, the prover side of your brain is going to go, yeah, I'm going to prove to you that you can't lose weight. And then you have trouble losing weight. But if you say to yourself, I'm gonna become a top income earner. Well, that's the thinking side of your brain that says, I'm going to become a top income earner. The prover side of your brain says, all right, let me prove that to be correct. Let me prove to you that that's correct. So if you ask yourself better questions, positive questions, the thinking side of your brain has got to be positive, because the prover side of your brain will always prove the thinker correct. This is not me coming up. This is all Tony Robbins. And I listened to this probably, I don't know how many years ago, decades ago. And I've always lived my life that way. I'm like, okay, let's think positive. Let's think positive. Let's think positive. Think of things that you want, and your brain will prove that it will come true. Just think of things that you want. Think of things, it's like, how can I go drive that car and have fun doing it? Or whatever the case may be, and your thinker side of your brain will prove to you that it will come true. Now, the trick is, don't doubt yourself, because the prover side will support that doubt. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys here tonight. I hope that helps a little bit, because we do live in a really, really negative world. And if we just sit back a little bit and go, all right, let's reformulate the question so that our brain gives us the answer that we're looking for, and we're going to be much, much better off. Carrie, back to you.